when you're being attacked, you can either retreat, withdraw, whatever word you want to use, or you can counterattack, right? And I think now is the time for President Trump to counterattack instead of trying to, push something to the side. That wall that we are facing, which is this whole Epstein affair, is not an immovable wall, but it is up. It is a wall that is going to block this administration from moving his agenda forward the way he wants to move it forward with whether it's foreign policy successes, peace around the world, border security, whatever. But this Epstein affair is a wall. It is not immovable, but you've got to figure out where to attack and how to counterattack. And as I said at the very end of the last segment, are you organized properly to be, as a government, as an executive branch, are you organized properly to go after the things that matter to the American people right now? Number one, I can tell you, elections. We can't, if we run elections, if we run our primaries with the same system that we had for the 2020 or 2022 elections or 2024 elections, what should we expect? I don't care how much the Republicans have out-registered the Democrats. The second thing is accountability. I'm hoping that on Tuesday night during the State of the Union that you talk about how you are planning on holding people accountable, that there are investigations, that we're going to see some things breaking here very soon. And I will tell you, Mr. President, that there are people, certainly in the world of social media, but there are also people that I'm in touch with, grassroots level, keeping my fingertips on the fingertip feel of the operational environment as I talk about, as you use the analogy or the metaphor of a battlefield, the United States of America, the people that I speak to, grassroots people, they're like, you know what, why should I bother to vote? The voting system hasn't been fixed. You keep griping about the stolen election of 2020, and I believe it. I know it was stolen. What we just saw in Georgia as an example is a great example. But we haven't fixed the system yet. We haven't fixed it. The second thing is accountability. If you don't start to show that you have accountability, that you're going to hold the people accountable that committed treason, your words, and the DNI's words, that committed subversion, your words. Again, people have to be held accountable, not just for Russiagate, but for everything that they've done. The Epstein files is another sharp stick in the eye of the American people if nothing happens. Because you know what the American people care about? We care about our kids. We care about our grandchildren. I know you care about your children. I know you care about your grandchildren.
And we care about getting rid, save the kids too, but it's about removing this evil satanic group. We want them, I'm telling you, I know every American I talk to says we would eat dog food for 10 years to remove these Satanists.
Break the system apart. Break it apart. When the political masters that we have, from the White House over to the Congress, when they are controlled by a demonic, satanic cult, which is an intelligence operation to compromise people so they will make decisions that they are being told to make, not on our behalf, but on the behalf of some other, satanic, demonic cult. Because that's what this is about. This is a, I've said spiritual war. Yep, you're damn right. This is a spiritual war.
The former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency and former National Security Advisor to President Trump, who was the #1 target when Trump first got in 9+ years ago, General Michael Flynn, joins us. We had a very important discussion yesterday. He's very concerned. So am I. He was on a month ago to talk about Susie Wiles with opposition research against him and others. I've confirmed with Robert Barnes that he's been threatened, all because he was exposing that they were shutting down the antitrust lawyers' investigations. So the Trump administration is overrun by corruption, and this Epstein cover-up is just continuing on. Over the weekend, they said they released everything. I believed it. Fox News ran the headline. It wasn't true. So she just lied to Congress. Pam Bondi, this is outrageous. Yes, there's all this great stuff Trump's doing on the border and trying to stop wars and taking back the Panama Canal and finding half the missing kids that the Democrats brought in under Biden and getting us out of the Paris Accord, the carbon tax. That's all fabulous. But it's like, it doesn't matter if your grandpa's a nice guy and you find out there's a dead body buried in the backyard. And so why is Trump doing this? I know this inside and out. There's never been any real Epstein stuff him involved. Well, he said, oh, it'll crash the stock market. It'll hurt America. No, covering this up will hurt America. Yes, I know it's abhorrent. But just in the 3 million files, the cannibalism, the devil worship, the quote, we're delivering the sex slave to the Hyatt. Imagine what they're redacting. So General Flynn, I'm going to shut up because you only got 20 minutes. I'm going to give you the floor to brief us on this. And I think you should, the last time we talked, you were like, should I let him have it? Should I go all the way? And I was like, that's up to you, sir. I'm saying today, since you asked me a month ago, now it's so clear that I'm being targeted, you're being targeted. We know Trump doesn't know this. Opposition research, because they know stuff's going on that we're not going to put up with. They know who, can't be controlled. I know you told me yesterday, I don't know if you want to get into it. You've been approached, hey, we can cut you in here. You're like, F you. I mean, you were pretty hot yesterday. I think I heard you say more cuss words in our brief conversation than we've ever had in our many other conversations. So this is a big fucking deal. General Flynn, you got the floor.
Yeah, and I generally don't get that Irish, I guess. Sometimes I do, but yeah, I called you yesterday because I got a sense of things, and I heard an interview that you did. I guess it was a day or two ago that I thought was profound, and it does get at the heart of what our country is going through, and frankly, internationally, because we're watching the international scene. I do very closely, and we're seeing the results of what the fallout is from the release of the Epstein files. And frankly, not all the Epstein files have been released. There are still videos and photos and such that haven't gotten out there. So let me start by giving a little context of what is about to occur. So what is about to occur is, I think it's Tuesday night, this coming Tuesday night, is a big speech, a State of the Union by the President of the United States, President Trump. During this speech, he is, the cloud that is potentially going to be around this speech is the way that his administration, our administration, has addressed the entire Epstein affair, I call it, right? From the very beginning where, Pam Bondi said she saw all the files and they were horrific, and they did the media event at the White House, and then we realized that there was nothing to that. And then we start to argue about the people, all of us got involved and said, no, you got to release this stuff. It's a law now. And then it starts to get released, right? And now we start to see all of the stuff that's involved in everything that surrounded Epstein. And so again, Epstein, this is not about President Trump. This is about the abuse, sexual slavery, sexual abuse, the depravity, the murder, and it appears in some cases, of children. That's what this is about. That's what this is about to me from the very, very beginning. And so the White House, to try to say, well, nothing to see here, we need to move on. You cannot move on from the physical depravity by people like Epstein and those that were part of his network. Now, what is his network? So let me address what his network probably is, or probably was, since he's dead now, but more than likely it continues to operate. Epstein's network was, to me, is very clearly a massive, massive international intelligence operation. This guy was fully funded to the tune of whatever he needed to be able to do whatever he needed to, include having an island and houses everywhere, mansions everywhere. It was a large-scale international intelligence operation to compromise world leaders, and not only political leaders, but corporate leaders. So you compromise them by getting them, videos of them with children, finding out what their moral, depraved behavior is, and then you go at that behavior and you attack that behavior, you compromise those individuals, and then you own them, and then you can control the kinds of decisions that they're going to make, out into the future, right? Whether or not they're a Secretary of State, a foreign minister, or whether they become a prime minister, or whether they become a president, or whether they become a king. It doesn't matter. That's what these people were up to, and we've already seen some fallout from some of the files that have come out. So people need to understand, it is number one, it is about the children, and it has always been about the children. And that's That's my, gripe. That's my bitch, if you will. That's it. If we don't make it about the children, then we don't have a country that I can be proud of. And I'm very proud of the United States of America, but I'm not proud of this issue where we are trying to sweep under the rug, or we're trying to, make it, well, no, nothing to see here. We need to move on. This is about children. Make it about children. Now I'm talking directly to the President of the United States. You can come out and say, hey, look, our Department of Justice is going to investigate, and we're going to conduct investigations, but now we want to see some of the results of those investigations of people that we now know were involved in some of this just sickness, these diseased minds of the people that Epstein was able to compromise. And when we look back, looking back over time, some of those compromised individuals, what decisions did they make in the past that may have changed the way we are living today in the future, right now? And I think President Trump, as I said up front, President Trump has a gigantic speech coming up, and he's going to State of the Union. You're supposed to tout all the great things that he's done. And he should tout.
And I predict, I'll just interrupt, I predict they'll have stage hetlers to bring up Epstein. They're trying to build this as the Epstein presidency, the Epstein administration. He has to get ahead of this. I mean, how long does he, I agree. People are saying he has months. Barnes said months. No, I believe he has to get ahead of this before the speech. I think that's what you're saying, General Flynn.
I'm saying that he's got to get out. They should be putting out talking points. They should be on the Sunday circuit this coming Sunday and talking about what this is about. And it gets to what I'm saying, what I'm recommending to the President of the United States of America is to, this is about children. This is about the abuse, sexual abuse, and murder of children, and in some cases, this disgusting behavior of some of the things that they did to children. I mean, oh my God, it's sickening. I've seen some of the videos. I don't even want to look at them. I've read many of the emails, as many as has been sent to me, and I'm disgusted by it. So
and then, as you said, though, then using it to control and blackmail the corporate and governmental leaders, it goes right into the WF, right into the UN, who I love. They're investigating now. The UN's famous for running all this. So it's just insane.
Yeah, and it's, so this is, like I said, this is a huge intelligence operation. There are satanic components of this thing, for sure. There's no doubt about that. So prior to this State of the Union, which should be a big, pat on the back for President Trump, there's going to be a cloud. And you're right. Will there be hecklers in the audience? There probably will be, more than likely. Like, release, what did you do about, what girls did you rape? I mean, there's going to be crazy shit like that, Alex. I mean, we should count on that, because the left is going to use this as a bludgeon. Now, here's part of why this upcoming State of the Union is important, because on the 3rd of March is the very first day for the primaries to begin. We have primaries in at least 2 states, I think 3, but certainly Arkansas and Texas. We have primaries starting for members of the House and certainly governors, important races. I mean, a couple of weeks, a week and a half away, or 2 weeks away, right? So this State of the Union ought to be a big push. Vote Republican, vote for, the conservatives, vote, against these crazy people on the left. But if Trump doesn't get over this, you're showing pictures of people that I know, and I'm questioning all this, and I'm saying to myself, what the hell is going on here? And and for me, people will they've accused me of plenty of things, but these are things that I'm not aware of. I wasn't aware of. I can imagine certain things. I've always heard about the Epstein situation and how many people went on his plane, and I've seen the manifest.
Now it's all confirmed. Devil worship.
Now it's confirmed.
Surrogate babies, secret stem cell research.
So Alex, the White House has got to change this narrative, and they've got to change it pretty quickly. And it's a matter of being very strategic and very smart and shrewd about how do they change that narrative away from, because the Epstein affair is going to go all the way into the general elections in this coming November. It's not going to go away because they said we need to move on. I'm sorry, or Pam Bondi, gets in front of Congress and says that the stock market's over 50,000. I mean, I'm sorry, Pam, but you become a meme on social media, and that's not what you wanted to have happen.
We all know the president. I'll tell a little secret here. and people don't want me to tell this, but I'm just getting it out. Ever since he was first in, people pay huge amounts of money for Fox local. You don't have to buy ads on Fox National because the local ads there, hundreds of millions of dollars a year spent just on Fox local with all the lobbying groups because Trump watches Fox. Okay,
right.
So it shows how people think he's playing 10D chess. He's a good guy overall, but he's compartmentalized watching Fox. He's obsessed with what Jimmy Kimmel says. He's 79.
Here's
folks.
what I said to you yesterday, and I'll give a little bit of insight into what I said to Alex yesterday for your audience and anybody else that watches. Because I have to check myself every so often, and I did say to you, Alex, look, I want to make sure that I'm not living in a bubble of social media, and this is only thing I understand, and that I'm not in a bubble, and that you're not in a bubble. We don't live in this world where we, self-licking ice cream cone world, right? We have got to make sure that we look at our adversaries. I watch.
But let me stop you. You instantly got it before I explain it for the listeners to get it. My point is, Trump is in a bubble for sure. He doesn't know. We're not in a social media bubble. I'm on the street. People come up to me like I'm bad, saying Trump better do something. You see it too. You're all over the country. What you're saying is, Trump, you're in a bubble. You're burning down. The people around you know this. They've set you up, as Kyle Seraphin a year ago predicted. Now, continue, sir.
Yeah, and Seraphin the other day, that's the show that I watched a part of, and that's what got me, that's why I called you up yesterday, because, he touched on something that is very important. Here's my kind of, what are the top three things, right? And I'll tell you, we got primary starting 3 March, Arkansas and Texas, and I think one other state, so forgive me. But people are still concerned about our election process and whether or not we have fair elections. The second thing is people want accountability. They want accountability dating back to Russiagate. When are we going to see that? Now, maybe there's a grand jury. Maybe we're going to see indictments. Okay, great. But you know what? Let's hear about that. If that's happening, then let us know. Don't keep that secret, because I'm going to tell you, the more you keep it secret, the more people don't think you're playing 5D chess. And let me tell you, folks, for those that want to know, there's no 5D chess being played. That's bullshit. And people that keep saying, oh, Trump's going to do this or Trump's doing that. No, this is very, very difficult. And the compartmentalization of a president of the United States, a president that I know is super smart and does tend to try to keep his finger on the pulse, there are people around him that are keeping him from understanding or seeing exactly what the rest of the country feels.
Yeah, so here's the bottom line, sir. As you were saying, this is a red alert. All the numbers show it. The Rasmussen polling, the most accurate, shows it. This is hemorrhaging, bleeding out. We know the MO. Trump's not involved. We know he's got advisors that are setting him up. This is an emergency message to the president. Everybody take this interview. Send it to the White House, Truth Social. Get it out there. Trump, you got to pull the ripcord now on the parachute. General Flynn.
He's got to make decisions about the elections. He said a lot of things about the elections. I know we're going through the SAVE Act. He's said a lot about accountability. We haven't seen it. Now, the third thing is the economy, right? The economy. And I'm going to tell you, I talk to a lot of people, and people don't feel it yet. And I think part of it, and they need to take a hard look at and maybe this is why Susie Wiles, I guess yesterday, it broke through Axios or Fox that she was getting a huddle together of all the chiefs of staff of all the various departments to talk about the upcoming State of the Union, because the polling numbers for Trump, I hope that they're showing them to him. But his polling numbers are down right now, and there should be no reason why they're down. But I will tell you, the reason why they're down is because of this lack of I would call it, it's like being a commander on the battlefield, Mr. President. You got, as a commander on the battlefield, has to go out and have a fingertip feel for the operational environment, meaning you got to go down into the foxholes. You got to go out onto the front lines. You got to go talk to regular Americans. You got to be careful just listening to the people around you. And I think that there's some great people on his team. They've done some great things. I do have a lot of concern for the lack of transparency, government reform of the deep state, and accountability coming out of our justice system side. I'm sorry.
Well, look, as soon as Elon went after the CIA and the Pentagon, he got fired. So here's the bottom line, sir. We want to save the good Trump's doing. We're doing this as an intervention. There's no doubt. Hillary, I'm sure you saw the clip, is so confident. She came out yesterday and said, Trump's Epstein, he's involved, not us. When Ghislaine Maxwell set up their foundation,
right.
when the head of the Clinton Foundation got caught and convicted of illegally smuggling kids out for sex slavery out of Haiti, it's literally a heyday for them because they told Trump, sir, they're trying to do the files against you. You're not involved. It's a hoax. Yeah, it's a hoax because I'm not in it. It ain't about you, Trump. It's about justice for the kids and removing this blackmail operation. And so just, damn it, 100%. Get that through your head, man.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the essence of it, Mr. President. That's the essence of it right there. And you know, the Clintons are in contempt of Congress. What has Congress done? You know, the fact that we worked our asses off, Alex. We worked our asses off from the fake election of 2020 until the election of 2024. And I can tell you, you know, I was right out there in the front lines. I'm not going to, you know, I'll say what
we put up with all the attacks. We're not whining.
Yeah,
we're just saying we're proven warriors. We are MAGA. Right. You and I, and if we are, everybody knows we're the real deal. And if we're telling Trump you're in deep shit, he better fucking listen.
And took a lot of hits, took a lot of attacks, and I still do. And it's not to say that, you know, we were the only ones. There was a lot of people that made sure that Trump got across that victory line again in 2024. But we did it for specific reasons because of the campaign promises that he came out with and he talked about. And, you know, I mean, there's so many that we have to keep hounding him on. And if he doesn't do this, then I'm afraid that people are going to say, you know what, screw this. And it's already, and I will tell you, Mr. President, that there are people, certainly in the world of social media, but there are also people that I'm in touch with, grassroots level, keeping my fingertips on the fingertip feel of the operational environment as I talk about, you know, as you use the analogy or the metaphor of a battlefield, you know, the United States of America, the people that I speak to, grassroots people, they're like, you know what, why should I bother to vote? The voting system hasn't been fixed. You keep griping about the stolen election of 2020, and I believe it. I know it was stolen. What we just saw in Georgia as an example is a great example. But we haven't fixed the system yet. We haven't fixed it. The second thing is accountability. If you don't start to show that you have accountability, that you're going to hold the people accountable that committed treason, your words, and the DNI's words, that committed subversion, I mean, your words. I mean, again, people have to be held accountable, not just for Russiagate, but for everything that they've done. The Epstein files is another sharp stick in the eye of the American people if nothing happens. Because you know what the American people care about? We care about our kids. We care about our grandchildren. I know you care about your children. I know you care about your grandchildren.
And we care about getting rid, save the kids too, but it's about removing this evil satanic group. We want them, I'm telling you, yeah. I know every American I talk to says we would eat, you know, dog food for 10 years to remove these Satanists.
Break the system, yeah. Break the system apart. Break it apart. You know, John F. Kennedy talked about the CIA breaking into 1,000 pieces. Well, now we're talking about an entire system, and the CIA is just only part of it. So, I mean, don't get me going on the CIA.
It's just an epicenter. It's an epicenter, but
it is. I mean, you've got to break this thing apart and then kind of rebuild it. And that can be done with the types of reforms that you talked about, but we're not seeing. Your administration, all the different departments. I mean, there's another thing breaking in the Secretary of War, the Department of War today. Another element of subversion. It's in one of the the major commands. It's like they're talking about how they got to basically undermine the President of the United States. This is in a major military command. And I know that Pete Hegseth is doing everything that he can, but the system is going to continue to work against you unless you like I said, I've said this many times, a commander on the battlefield, and you're the commander in chief, you know, what gets checked gets done. You can't just sign an executive order and show it to us all and expect that executive order is going to be carried out. I know it's a big country. I know it's a big system. I know we have a big government, but you're going to have to dive into some of these areas, and you're going to have to tell your department heads, your secretaries, I want this DEI crap wiped off, you know, the face of the U.S.
And let's be clear, you only got a few minutes left, sir. The clock is ticking, so Trump needs to get ready. They are successfully signing on to us what they've all done. Hillary, again, is out saying that Trump's the Epstein guy when she is. He has to see that. And let's just talk about it. Susie Wiles, Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, they have to go. So Trump, pull out of this. You got to do it now.
Yeah. And for the president, and you know this, the most forgiving people on the planet are the American people. We will forgive. What we won't do is we will not allow the kinds of things that we are seeing. We're just not. Eventually,
because if we go along with it, we're part of it.
Well, we're part of it. Then we're enabling it. We're enabling it by not speaking out. We're enabling it by not voting. We're enabling it by staying away and saying, well, that's somebody else's problem. When people tell me they don't do politics, Alex, I'm like, well, did you have to fill your gas tank up? Did you have to go? Have you bought a loaf of bread lately? Everything that we do in our lives has to do with politics. And when the political masters that we have, from the White House over to the Congress, when they are controlled by a demonic, satanic cult, which is an intelligence operation to compromise people so they will make decisions that they are being told to make, not on our behalf, but on the behalf of some other, satanic, demonic cult. Because that's what this is about. This is a, I've said spiritual war. Yep, you're damn right. This is a spiritual war. People can attack me for saying, well, I'm negative Nelly, I'm going against Trump. Bullshit. There's not a person. I've been through this crap. I have been through it. I'm done with that. I don't even, I get so upset about that kind of stuff because I'm like, look, I withstood severe pain from 2017 until 2020. And then in 2020, I started to fight back to try to get this man elected because he was elected in 2020, right? That election was stolen. Think about this, audience, Mr. President, and you know this. We had a fake president of the United States of America, and we're not even sure he was there most of the time. Maybe there was a body double. The auto pen crap. What are we doing about this? So how are we organizing? Oh, we're gonna get short on time here, and I got that.
Well, General, you're the one that said you had to go in 20 minutes. You've been here 30.
Yeah, I do.
We got a hard network break in 45 seconds. Can you do 5 more minutes to finish your point?
Yeah, I will, but I want to ask this question, and I'll leave it at the break here. For the president, are you organized for combat? Are you organized to run this government the way it needs to be run, not conventionally, but you are an unconventional guy? So do you feel comfortable and confident that your government, the executive branch of the government, is being run the way you want it to be run? And if your answer is yes, then I'll shut up and go home.
Well said. You've got great websites, generalflynn.com. All your great work. People should follow you next at General Flynn. We'll be right back in 2 minutes with final statements from him. I actually know how Trump's being blackmailed. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Desperate times mean desperate measures. And we know how they're controlling Trump. He didn't have sex with 14-year-olds. He didn't get pissed on in Russia. It's all about his wife. And the enemy has all this information, and that's why you're getting this out of Trump. And at the end of the day, they're going to turn around and stab him in the back regardless, because he's now being blamed for all this stuff they did because of what he's doing. And I'm not saying Melania did this stuff, but this is what they're alleging, and it's already out there. But General Flynn, you got the floor.
Yeah, when you're being attacked, you can either retreat, withdraw, whatever word you want to use, or you can counterattack, right? And I think now is the time for President Trump to counterattack instead of trying to, push something to the side. That wall that we are facing, which is this whole Epstein affair, is not an immovable wall, but it is up. It is a wall that is going to block this administration from moving his agenda forward the way he wants to move it forward with whether it's foreign policy successes, peace around the world, border security, whatever. But this Epstein affair is a wall. It is not immovable. But you've got to figure out where to attack and how to counterattack. And as I said at the very end of the last segment, are you organized properly to be, as a government, as an executive branch, are you organized properly to go after the things that matter to the American people right now? Number one, I'm going to tell you, elections. We can't, if we run elections, if we run our primaries with the same system that we had for the 2020 or 2022 elections or 2024 elections, what should we expect? I don't care how much the Republicans have out-registered the Democrats. The second thing is accountability. I'm hoping that on Tuesday night during the State of the Union that you talk about how you are planning on holding people accountable, that there are investigations, that we're going to see some things breaking here very soon. And then the third thing, you have to talk about the economy, and those are fine. Those are all sort of the normal, those are sort of conventional, if you will. Maybe accountability can be done in an unconventional way. But in order to break through this Epstein wall, you're going to have to come forward and say, okay, I got it. Because I'm going to tell you, it ain't going away. There's just too much out there. We believe in you, Mr. Trump. We absolutely believe. We worked our tails off. We worked our butts off to get you elected a couple of times, not just in 2016, but in 2020 and in 2024. And these people will not give you a break. I don't care whatever deals they may offer, you or others, they will not. These people are out for blood, and they're out for this country, and they are going to do everything they can to continue to, this sort of globalist movement to take over this country. It's going to happen. You got a picture there. Keep that picture up for a second. Bill Clinton. The amount of people that were so upset, that the number of calls and messages that I got when you said on whatever the show was, that, Bill Clinton's a good guy, basically, we get along. Bill Clinton is not a good guy. He's not a good guy. He's not. And I don't care what you think about Bill Clinton. And there's so many things that are in that guy's past that the American people are going, wait a second.
Trump is signaling to them, I'll protect you, protect me. And it's not him with kids. We know. I predicted it. They did it. It's Melania claiming she was with Epstein, whatever the thing was there. The point is that Trump, the guy that produced the movie with Netflix, and her movie is all over this with Epstein. Now we understand he's protecting his family, and not from any crimes, but from embarrassment or the threat of embarrassment. Trump, you're being held hostage. It's going to come out.
Yeah, like I said, the most forgiving people on the planet are the American people. The American people will forgive. Trust me. I've been through my own bullshit. Trump, if there's some family-related issue, and I don't know about that, but I'm just saying, it's like, we're not going to move past this. And the reason why we're not going to move past this, because many of us have children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, in one woman's case, who got a hold of me, and said she will go to her dying breath fighting this bullshit. So people need to understand, President Trump, you need to understand, the Epstein affair is not going to, we are not going to move past it, because
when the press secretary says move along, it only makes them more angry. GeneralFlynn.com.
Right.
Thank you for the time, sir. Like I said, anytime, this show is yours. Thank you, and God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. God bless, Alex.
Follow us on X Real Jones. Thank you, General Flynn. Ladies and gentlemen, everything we've talked about to a T is being vindicated right now. So we can obsess over the Epstein files, or is Trump covering up, or isn't he, or what's Todd Blanche doing, any of that.
Men that abuse these girls, and what does that mean?
But at the end of the day, it's 99% Democrats in there. It's the European elite. They're the ones that basically wrote the book on this crap. It's all coming out, and we, the people, the populist Christians of the world, have been vindicated in spades. And that's why we've been attacked so much. So remember, regardless of what happens with different political leaders and different populists, whether it's Orban or whether it's Le Pen in France or whether it's Donald Trump here, regardless, we, the people of the West, of America, Christendom, will continue to promote freedom and liberty and justice and the American way and expose evil. And at the tip of the spear in that fight is InfoWars. But regardless of what happens to InfoWars, thealexjonesstore.com is owned by Bigley, and they have set up the Alex Jones Network as our backup that is absolutely critical. And they have launched the biggest sale of the year that runs until just next Monday. So I'm saying this live on air on Tuesday, February 10th. And I'll air this later again as an ad, so you'll be seeing it later. That means you've only got 6 days to take advantage of this massive sale. Listen to this. We've got multiple bundles on the side of our best-selling products. Limited time till next Monday at midnight. And your support keeps us on the air. This is an amazing value. Ultimate Gut and Brain Bundle. Repair the gut, power the brain, the heart, everything. Bundle price, $99. Normal value, $209. Savings over 50% off. Includes bovine colostrum, the top, private label. So incredible for your body, your skin, your hair, everything. Methylene Blue Tincture, we've got the best. Total game changer. You've seen the guests take it live on air. Even Methylene Blue fans say we've got the best. Methylene Red is our proprietary system that doesn't have a bunch of methylene blue in it. It's got all these other supercharged nutrients that supercharge methylene blue, but also do a great job for your stamina, libido, energy outside of that. So if you love methylene blue and methylene red, it's back in stock. All three of those together in a bundle at over 50% off. Then we have the Modern World Survival Stack. Rebuild, Reload, Defend. The bundle, $89. Normally $184. Over 50% off. Built to support the body, the toxic, nutrient-depleted modern world. Energy, stamina, focus, everything. Shilajit Complex, the best Shilajit gummies, capsules. You choose. CMOS capsules, incredible. Very strong concentrated Irish CMOS. Natural iodine, 93 trace vitamins and minerals. Incredible supercharger. You want this right now. Incredible for your thyroid, immune health, metabolic balance, your heart. And then Atomic Defense is the horse pill of horse pills of all the known concentrated natural detox, super nutrients to detox of heavy metals, environmental toxins, and supercharge your body and gut health. Get it all right now at thealexjonesstore.com and be the reason we will always be on the air one way or another. But you love sales. This one is over. I think it comes at like 57% off or something. This is over 50% off. It's running till next Monday. So I'm cutting this live on air on Tuesday, February 10th. So what is Monday? Okay. You got like 6 days to take action now at thealexjonesstore.com. And I want to thank all of you that have got the products and all of you that have been VIPs. You get huge discounts if you do that and $40 spent in the store instantly every month. But for everybody else on the fence, you're missing out. You think our info is powerful? Well, this is even more powerful. Get it now.